Well, I have great pleasure in introducing Mr. K.V. Ramani, founder and chancellor of SaiU University. He is one of the pioneers who led the efforts to bring India's information technology sector to global prominence. He co-founded the National Association of Software and Service Companies, you all know it as NASSCOM, to assist the growth and development of the IT sector in India. Mr. Ramani served as its chairman from 1997 to 1998 and was a member of its executive council for the first 10 years, being re-elected by the members 5 times over. He received the Founders Award at NASSCOM Silver Jubilee celebrations in 2015 for putting India on the global IT map. Mr. Ramani is currently the chairman and managing director of Digital Holdings Private Limited and the founder and managing trustee of Shirdi Sai Trust. A successful technology entrepreneur, he joined IBM as a graduate engineer in 1970 at a time when very few Indians were part of the IT sector's talent pipeline. Anticipating the advent of the age of technology, he founded a premier communications technology firm called Future Software in 1985. He co-founded Hughes Software Systems, a telecommunications software company in India, as a joint venture with the US firm Hughes Software in 1990. Mr. Ramani has been the charter president of TAI, the Indus Entrepreneurs, Chennai chapter, and a member of the governing council of Asia Pacific IT Industry Association. Additionally, he has worked for the Department of Electronics as a member of the working group on information technology and as a chairman of the study team on software development and exports for the 9th five-year plan during 1996. Between 1988 and 1992, he was the chairman of the software panel Southern Region for the Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Council under the Ministry of Commerce. Mr. Ramani has been honored by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi for creating the brand of A New India as co-founder of NASSCOM and for the Shri Sai Baba Sansthan, Shirdi. The inspiration behind his numerous philanthropic initiatives, which include educational and medical services for the underprivileged. Mr. Ramani is driven by the urgent need to create world-class institutions for higher education in India and now steers his efforts towards building a global interdisciplinary university in India. Mr. Ramani, welcome, and I hand over this to you, sir.
Thank you, Nandini, for your kind introduction. Good morning to everyone on this call, and my special good morning to our founder, Vice Chancellor, Professor Jamshed Barucha, the SaiU University team. Before I begin, I want to thank all of you, the first cohort of Sai students, the Sai University's founding batch, who would be not only the future of India, who will be transforming the whole world. Welcome to all of you. Today marks a very special day in my life. I'm sure it marks a very special day in the lives of all the Sai University team members. And it's going to mark a very special day in the lives of all our students. I want to tell you how and why in the next few minutes. But before I proceed, most people give a vote of thanks at the end of a talk. But I'm going to make it a little different today. Because the reason for our being here is due to the untiring efforts of so many people. I'm going to begin my talk today with a vote of thanks. And first of all, my namaskar and thanks to my Sadguru Sri Sainath Maharaj for giving me the inspiration to start Sai University and the wisdom and the energy to see the first day of the first batch of commencement of Sai University. My second thanks goes to the founding board of members of SaiU University. All of you must have seen our website several times before joining that we have an illustrious board of directors. And we are proud to say that we have 5 Padma Vibhushan awardees and 1 Padma Shri awardee in our board. You know that has been the unique contribution of all these board members that has made the commencement of SaiU University possible. Their constant encouragement, support, and their guidance helped me to come to where we are today. And next is my most sincere thanks to our founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Jamshid Barucha, who, when I spoke to him first, said readily agreed to say that the dream of creating a world-class university in India has been in his mind for several years. And having been sounded over the opportunity to make it happen, we jumped at it and he said, here I am, count me in. So I thank Professor Barucha most sincerely, sir. Thank you very much. Then I want to thank the entire SaiU University team. It's impossible to mention each one of them by name. The International Advisory Board members, who read thanks to Professor Barucha's efforts, who was like a who's who of the world's top faculty. We have them on our board. And those who are not there, I'm sure we'll find a place in our board very soon. Secondly, our reputed, acknowledged, and accredited great Indian faculty who have joined this mission to create a world-class university. Then I thank all of the management team members of all our various teams that support in diverse ways to see that in their own efforts, in their own untiring efforts, they have all contributed in a significant manner to make the commencement of SaiU University possible. Thanks to all of you, and my most personal and sincere gratitude to each one of you individually for helping me to come to where we are today, to make the commencement speech. When I'm talking here, I assure you that I'm talking on behalf of all of you. I'm the representative of the entire cohort of the SaiU University's management and team and faculty, as well as the cohort of SaiU University students. Having said all of that, I want to thank all of the other people who are not on our staff, but who have been there along with us in this journey for the last 3.5 years to support us day and night. Let me repeat, day and night. There have been many days where we have not gone home before 12 midnight. There have been many days where we have not gone home at all. There have been many days where we have kind of had to work so hard that we didn't even know what time of day or night it was. So I want to thank each one of them who are not directly in the staff of SaiU University who made this possible by supporting us, but for whom we will not be here where we are today. And I lastly want to thank all of you, the students, the first cohort of SaiU University's founding cohort of 2021. The students of SaiU University who can be proud in going around in your career around the world to say we are the people who started SaiU University. Each one of you should be proud to say we are the founders of SaiU University, because without the student, there's no university. So I thank each one of you for having the faith and confidence in starting a new university. And I thank your parents, your families, and your well-wishers who supported you in your desire and your efforts to join a new world-class university, having the faith in us to join this journey to commence a new university. The university is made up of people, but most importantly, the people who make the university. So I thank each one of you and your parents, the students and the parents and their families and well-wishers to say thank you all for being here on SaiU University's commencement day. With that, I want to start my talk, and a round of applause will be in place to make sure we start this joyful day with a light-hearted fun and not so much a seriousness as I see all of you getting up early in the morning to attend a 9 o'clock session. So let us just have a round of applause to make sure that we begin SaiU University's commencement with a round of applause. I can't hear it. No, no.
Unmute yourself and applause loudly for the Chancellor. Okay.
So you're on mute.
Now I'm going to narrate a story of how SaiU University unfolded. And I'm going to make a talk in a lighter sense. You're going to have many more talks, but they're going to be perhaps serious on the subjects that you want to learn. So to begin that SaiU University's commencement, I'm going to make a lighter talk, but I'm going to make it insightful to make sure that each one of you will reflect on these points on all your lives. First of all, where is the need for another university in India when you have thousands of universities already? Why did we come into being? What is the reason d'etre for SaiU University's existence? What is it that we are trying to achieve? What is the purpose, what the vision, what the mission, what the direction of SaiU University? I think this is a question that some of you have asked me in your personal meetings with me. And some of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting, so I'll have an opportunity to meet you in the near future. But I think as a founding batch of SaiU University, you should know why we're here and why you are here, why all of us are here. The journey to starting SaiU University started in 2018. And I will tell you something which you'll rarely hear in the future, because SaiU University, we have declared it to be an agnostic place. That means that we're a place where we welcome freedom of thought from every side of the globe. We'll be open to listen, we'll open to view, we'll be open to criticize, discuss, debate ideas and concepts from around the world. But the university will remain neutral in its stance. I'm making this opening remark because it's going to be the cornerstone of the policy for SaiU University. SaiU University will remain neutral around the world in its own stance. It will not take political stance, it will not take religious stance, it will not take societal stance, but it will enable discussions, debates, and conversations to flow around it from several directions from people of all walks of life. And it enables students and faculty to discuss, debate, argue endlessly on all of these topics. There is religious polarization or caste or religion, creed or politics, whatever be it. And we would like each and of you young students of SaiU University to validate, argue, and question the wisdom of their masters and say that, how do you think they're wrong? And make sure that every statement you hear is tested. When I am talking now, feel free to interrupt me and test whatever I'm saying. This is not going to be a monologue. This is going to be an interactive session. Please raise your hand and I'll pause and I'll listen to you and then I'll answer your questions. The reason I'm saying it, it has to be what is the ancient wisdom of India. The ancient wisdom of India is let noble thoughts flow from every direction. So the concept of SaiU University is to let noble thoughts flow in from every direction. You'll hear all kinds of people, all genders of people, all kinds of people. Ultimately, each one of you, every one of you, will have the ability to reason it in your mind analyze it, and decide on the view that you want to take, which will be unique to building your own career and your own personality. So SaiU University will be an enabler in building the personality, the character, the integrity, the strength of each one of you as students individually. We do not want a collective herd of people. We want each one of you to blossom as individuals in your own right. So to begin with the beginning, as you all know, I left active business in 2004 after selling 2 companies. And I started a foundation called Shidi Sai Trust. I'm narrating this because this is going to be recorded as a history of SaiU University for future generations and future centuries to see. The birth of a new university. Today marks the birth of the university, and therefore we should record the history of its birth. From 2004 and until 2018, I was managing the Shidi Sai Trust, which we found out with the funds generated from selling the companies I founded, Future Software and Use Software. 85% of the wealth generated was contributed to the corpus of the trust. 15% I get from my family. And from this 85% of the corpus of the trust, we were helping 3,000 students with scholarships each year, 3,000. We were focusing also on the first generation graduates all over India, not just in Chennai, all over India. We had tied up not with the individual students, but we tied up with schools and colleges, and we had given them the criteria for selection of the students based on their merit, and in some cases based on their need, in some cases based on both merit and need. 3,000 students have had the benefit of CD Side Trust scholarships. And I'm going to tell you a couple of instances here to make you all understand how privileged you are. During the walks of my 2004 to 2018 journey, since we are almost writing out checks every year to the schools and colleges, 3,000 of them, to fund the students, we're not too sure whether we're reaching the students because we are not meeting the students at all. We're not meeting the parents. We did not want to be influenced by anybody. We are fearless in our independence. Then came the trial of test. We came across a ghost student who was the daughter of a lift operator in an apartment block. The father was earning 2,500 rupees a month. And this brilliant girl had 98% marks in her plus 2. The father said, "Sorry, I cannot afford your higher education. You're living on a family income of 2,500 rupees a month. Therefore, why don't you go to work, do some tailoring, embroidery, whatever skills you can get, and bring a few thousand rupees a month so we can put more food on the table." The student was very, very keen on higher education. I'll never forget this day in my life. The student contacted us through someone known to them, right out of CD Cyprus. We funded the student's education for 4 years, a BTech in computer science, which was her passion. And at the end of 4 years, our friend, the student, not naming the student for privacy reasons, joined an IT company on a monthly salary of 18,000 rupees a month. That was almost 15 years ago. 14, 15 years ago. In other words, in a short span of 4 years, the family income had gone up almost 7 times because of one student. Instead of stopping at high school level, went for an undergrad degree. And the family income became like 7 times, 8 times more than what it was. From a lower income family, they had become a middle income family. I'm going to narrate one more incident. A couple of years later, another student approached us. This was a boy whose father was an agricultural laborer on living on daily wages on the suburb of Chennai in Avadi. His father had only daily wage earnings. He had worked for less than 200 days in a year and was getting daily wages. The family was running on just his daily income from the farm. So there was no work, there was no income, there was no food at home. You can understand the situation. And this boy worked so hard. He had got 95% in the plus two. And he wanted to pursue a career in mechanical engineering and automobile engineering. Some of these boys, well-wishers, referred him to us. He supported the student through 4 years of BTech mechanical engineering, which was student's passion. After which, the student joined an auto major in Chennai as a graduate engineer, and he continued his passion to do an MTech part-time in automobile design engineering. And today, I'm happy to say after 10 years, he's a design manager in a very large automobile unit in Chennai. International Automobile Unit is a manager design. You can imagine the family's income had almost gone up 10 times after this boy started earning. So what made the difference? The difference of 4 years of undergraduate education. The students who drop out after plus two, just going through 4 years of undergraduate education, transform the lives of not only the student, but their entire families around them. Their parents, their siblings, everybody. They can take care of themselves. Some of these students are still in contact with us. They write once in a year or once in a few years a thank you note to us to say where they are and what are they doing. And they want to contribute to CD's address and so forth. We tell them no thank you. We do not accept any donations of any kind. I repeat, we do not accept donations from anyone because CDs have always provided enough for us to make it happen. We find the means whenever we have a good intention. The resources come to us. But we ask them only one thing in return. We ask for one favor from each one of them in return. We say in your life, each student, that you must help one other child who's not your relative to pursue higher education. Helping your own relative or your sibling is your duty, it's your responsibility. But helping a student who is not related to you is a service. And many of them write back to us to say how they have helped one student to take at least an undergrad degree to go from school final towards a better qualified job, in some cases to a postgraduate degree and a higher level of job performance. The reason I'm saying is that as students, the founding batch of SaiU University, you should know that you're joining an institution which values education as a cornerstone of not only economic development of the individuals and the family, but we view each one of you and your contribution to the society as a society's development, as a transformation agent for the whole world to change. You are so young, you're all in their teens, plus or minus, that you have the energy, you have the wisdom, you have the commitment, you have the dream to change the world. Your aspirations are boundless. You should continue to be the same. SaiU University will be an enabler in pursuing your dreams to change the world. Be the change that you want to see. There are many of us here who perhaps too old to go and make a change happen. But you are the people who are the change agents who can make the change and see it happen. So my request to each one of you is to say, dream big. Be that student of SaiU University who came, who saw, and who conquered the world. Each one of you should make that difference in your lives, not only for yourself, not only for your families, not only for the people around you, for the society and the world at large. You should be the student that made the change. And that will bring the greatest joy to all of us at SaiU University. Secondly, I'm going to very briefly talk about the other thing that SaiU University does, because my primary talk was to focus on education and SaiU University today. We've also been helping nearly 4,000 families a year for meeting their medical emergencies. We're meeting with feeding 5,000 people every day to avoid them from suffering the pangs of hunger. While all of this was going on in the year 2017-18, made enormous change in the story that I'm about to tell. In my own life, in my own career, which is almost my second career, or perhaps my third career, or fourth, I don't know, I lost count. I started my life as an IT professional, and then I became an entrepreneur, and then I became what do we call a society change agent through our trust, and I became an institution builder in creating NASCOM and TIE and so on. I have done many different acts. I've done many acts differently. Then in 2017, when it was the centenary year of Shirdi Sai Baba, my Sadguru, I'd gone to Shirdi and offered my prayers to say, being the centenary year of Sai, what should we do? Something unique and special. And immediately, Sai inspired me to start a SaiU University. It was late 2017. So I see the birth of SaiU University from out of the blue, because I had no exposure to the academic world. I had no desire to start an education institution. I had thought I had done my work and my career was at completing with building an NGO and helping people. And now I had a new career to begin a new university. And then in 2018, early 2018, in January, February, we had some consultants to see and understand the education sector, because I did not know anything about the education industry, education sector. And we had done a detailed discussion, scoping, and I'd talked to a few of my close friends who have been, in a sense, supporting me from the inception of SaiU University's idea, especially people like Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Ashank Desai, and Mr. Bhaskaran and Ms. Ram, who have been helping me to nurture this idea with their expertise, to say how it can be shaped, how it can be given direction, how this concept has been taken further. And I am grateful to each one of them on this occasion to say thank you for your guidance and your wisdom. The SaiU University that we all dreamt is here today. So we went to the state government. Originally, we had thought about the normal way of starting a university is very time bound. It's immense amount of effort to build from ground up. We looked at opportunity to acquire an existing university and then rename it and take it to higher levels of performance. We found that it was not feasible because most of the universities which are available were not having a good reputation. And therefore, it was almost difficult for us to build a university and change its image from inception. Instead, therefore, we decided to go for a greenfield university. We had appointed some consultants to scope out the work, to define the contours of a university, what it should be. what should be the direction the university take, not just in the beginning, but over the next 15 years, what direction it should take, what should be the positioning of the university, what should be the vision, mission of the university, what should be the purpose of this university. We had done all of that. We had great amount of debates. And during these debates, the contours of the SaiU University emerged. It took us more than about a year or so to get these ideas formed up. Simultaneously, we had approached the Tamil Nadu government for their approval to start a greenfield private university in Tamil Nadu. Well, there are nearly 700 private universities in India in 2018 when we approached Tamil Nadu government. There was no private university in Tamil Nadu. To correct myself, there was one private university in Tamil Nadu. It was founded before independence and which has subsequently been taken over by Tamil Nadu government. It has now become a government-run university. So we approached the government to say, give us a permission to start a private university because many of the other states have a private university. Why is this state not having a private university? And then we also asked them to say, give us 200 acres of land to make this a great university and a campus of world standards. So the government said, first of all, remove the requirement for 200 acres of land because we cannot give you, according to Supreme Court's orders, that if we have the state government has to go and buy the land, we have to pay 2.5 times the market price. And therefore, you can go ahead and buy it at market prices to buy it 2.5 times the market price. And we'll be only too happy to give you an act to support it. That was a very, very wise thing to say because it helped us save enormous amount of cost in acquiring the land. The government did not have the land. So in February 2018, we applied to state government with a fresh proposal and a detailed project report with a 15-year projections to say, this is what we want to do with the university. This is the investment we'll bring. This is the kind of programs we'll run. These are the kind of students that will come out and thus how will be contributing to society, how they will be contributing to themselves, to their families, to the state, to the country, and to the world. We had given all of these conceptual ideas to the state government in February 2018. I must tell you, to my surprise, we had an act of Tamil Nadu government, Tamil Nadu Act 42 of 2018, passed by government of Tamil Nadu in July 2018. Believe it or not, within 5 months, we had an act passed by the Tamil Nadu government. 5 months. It is not heard of anywhere in India. The state government or the central government passing a law within 5 months, unless the government wanted it so badly. In this case, they accepted the concept proposed by us. They saw the need for a high quality education in the state, and therefore they accepted it. And in order to ensure that we are not yet another fly-by-night operator, we are not yet another university which is going to take the permission and then convert it to a business, which we are not. They put in 5 conditions, 5 key conditions. All of you should know. Why are we starting the university in 2021 after getting the act in 2018? The first and foremost condition that the government had given us was that we must have 100 acres of contiguous land. Well, according to UGC, according to many other state governments, the requirement for a university is in the region of 25 to 40 acres. If you get 25 acres to 40 acres, it's enough, you can start a university. The great country of the United States, you don't even need to own a land to start a university. I know many universities run in the state of New York in high-rise buildings. And they're eminent universities, don't forget. But the infrastructure is out of one block of, let's say, Manhattan building. But here the government insisting that we build a university of class and proportion and magnitude, which is world class. They said to get 100 acres of land. The second, third, and fourth conditions were very wise conditions. They said we should have faculty, we should have infrastructure in terms of buildings and land, and we should have curriculum, all according to UGC and Government of India norms, so that they ensure the infrastructure, the labs, the faculty, and the curriculum are all of acceptable standards to make sure the quality of the institution was going to be very high. And then they had another condition to ensure the continuity of the industry and to ensure that the future of the students and their families and the investment that the families were making were secure. They asked us to put in a caution deposit of 50 crores rupees in the government. This is almost to say that if something were not going right with the university, the government in its freedom can almost use this 50 crores and take it, the university forward with independent board of management. That is the kind of safety measures that have been built into Private University Act, SaiU University. You must understand this because you should know that you're not just joining a startup university, but you're joining a university which is kind of well-funded, which has good basic infrastructure and amenities, which is the protection, the safety and security for the future. All of that are built into the concept of the university itself in its constitution of the university. So we gratefully acknowledged the government and we went about hunting for the land from July 2018. As you know, in India, lands are held in small pockets of half acre, 1 acre, and 2 acres some cases. And getting 100 contiguous acres was not easy. So at this time, I want to also remember, I remember that I had forgotten to thank two sets of people who also contributed to us in the beginning of our journey. One is KPMG, the firm of consultants, who helped us scope the project, who did the detailing of the project concept, who prepared the detailed project report, who did the financial workings and projection for 15 years, and who guided us every step in taking our vision and dream into reality. So I thank the KPMG firm and their partners for their team for helping us to come to this level today. Second, I want to thank Dr. Pramas Sinha and his team of members, including Nidhi Reddy and their associates, several of them, who helped guide, create the structure for SaiU University. Because KPMG as consultants were only advisory, they do not execute the responsibility of execution. Therefore, we needed to take the advice of someone on saying, how do we create the structure of the university and how do we get started? So Dr. Pramas Sinha had been already the founder of ISB. He had already founded Ashoka University, co-founded it properly. And he had run a consultancy firm called 9.9 in Delhi. And they were in the business of advising, helping, guiding universities to set up, structure, design, and start. So we took their help in the first 2 years to make sure that the SaiU University's, the basic foundation structures were designed on which we are standing today, to be firm and strong to build a giant institution for the future. So I want to thank Dr. Pramas Sinha, Ms. Nidhi Reddy and their entire team for all their contribution in the early stages of starting up SaiU University. And therefore, to continue the story that while we're searching for the land, we are done with the KPMG consulting and the other side at 9.9 consulting to create on one side, the project and the financials and reports, on the other side, the design structure and the curricula or the basic info, the academic info of the university. Then in our discussions, we set a few basic conditions to select the land. And I remember very clearly Dr. Pramasina guiding me on this. My desire was that the university should be as close to the city of Chennai as possible. The reason is that many universities that we find today, the new universities, for sake of getting land, they have to go far away from the city. It makes it difficult for students, faculty, and the parents and their well-wishers to come meet, greet, spend some time, or spend their leisure together. So I set the guideline that I want this university to be not further than 1 hour drive from Chennai cities. And I'm happy to tell you we are only 50 minutes away from Chennai center. If you have to take the South Chennai, the Tidal Park or the location or IIT or Anna University or any of these well-known institutions, from there we are only 45-50 minutes drive in our main campus. And if you take the farthest corners of Chennai like Anna Nagar West or Anna Nagar East or from Ennore, the northern parts of Chennai, if you take the outer ring road, we have tested this out. We can actually test it in Google Maps. You can reach the SaiU University main campus in less than 60 minutes, 55 minutes to be precise. So we are fortunate to find a piece of land of 105 acres, 105 acres. In the suburb of Chennai, in what is called one of Chennai. It's also a Japanese industrial estate where very leading Japanese companies are manufacturing, but they are 2 kilometers further south of us. So we have no risk of being close to an industry, but we're going to be close to an academic belt and knowledge part of the city. As you know, SaiU University land has been purchased in YMR Chennai. YMR, which is called Old Mahabaligpuram Road, is already called the knowledge hub of Chennai. All the IT companies are here. All the R&D companies are here. All the financial services companies are here. All of the intellectual property companies are here. And so we will be co-locating with the knowledge hub of Chennai. And secondly, we are within 1 hour drive of Chennai. The second condition, the university said, before I go there, I must say for academic or for administrative convenience, we also started a city campus in Navalu, where I can see the office of Professor Virucha at the back drop on his window, that we found which is halfway between the city and the new location, so it's easy for the faculty and the staff and the team to commute to the university and help us to build the university and the campus. So after completing the basic infrastructure required as stipulated by the government, the first building is ready in 15,000 square feet. We have 4 classrooms and about 200 students capacity in the first building in the academic block and the main campus. And we have appointed faculty. We created lab spaces. We created library spaces. We created the curriculum as per required by UGC, thanks to Professor Barucha and his faculty team. We also had at this point of time the recognition of Professor Anand, who was the first person to have joined the university after me, our current Dean of Law School. I'm employee number 1, and Professor Anand is employee number 2. He came with this brilliant concept of starting a school of law. And I grabbed that idea. And I grabbed that idea for the simple reason that Chennai is known to be a legal hub of India, even from the times of the independence movement. Chennai has one of the only 2 chartered high courts in India. There are only 2 chartered high courts who started during the time of the British. Madras High Court is one of them. I'm happy to say that 2 of the founding fathers of India, the authors of the Constitution of India, they're from Chennai, and they're both lawyers. So Chennai had a great history in the branch of law, which is not known to many people, and it has kind of diluted over the years with the growth of the discipline all over the country. And when Professor Anand came with this idea that, we'll start a law school of international standards here. I grabbed the idea, and along with him, Dr. Madhav Koshla, his close friend, and they came together with a concept and said, we started law school. Can we start it without waiting for the university's commencement? And Professor Sinha said, yes, we can start something called a fellowship, for which you don't need any accreditation. And so we started Daksha Fellowship last year, the year 2020. And there, I'm happy to say that the first cohort of Daksha Fellowship has completed the first year as we speak now. They have completed their first program, and they will be having their convocation within the next month or two. We're only debating because Professor Anant is deciding whether to have a virtual convocation or a real convocation. And therefore, you will possibly be having an occasion to join the first convocation in the SaiU University within the next month or two. The reason I'm saying is, today I'm recording the history. I'm recording the history not for my benefit or not only for your benefit, but the benefit of future generations to know how SaiU University started. So Daksha Fellowship, we had 45 students who all completed their first program. And Professor Anant and his team of faculty have created an outstanding program. It's a postgraduate program. Specialization and technology track, technology law, alternate dispute law, like mediation, arbitration, reconciliation, and so on, and also policy and research laws. So they have created already a specialty which has now been folded into SaiU University. The reason I'm saying is this happened before we actually come in SaiU University, and it's now part of SaiU University's history. You can say this is a curtain raiser to SaiU University. The last condition of 50 crores deposit to the government, we completed and we invested the money in one of the government's own secured funds to ensure that the government was satisfied that we met all the conditions that were required. And we asked the government to give us what is called the commencement certificate. And when we are trying to get the commencement certificate, Tamil Nadu government announced elections. So we are in the cusp of an election between an outgoing government and an incoming government. We didn't know how long it will take us to get the commencement certificate. But thanks to all the people and officers involved, and also to the Election Commission of India, we got the commencement certificate on 28th of April this year. Tamil Nadu government issued a government gazette order to say SaiU University's commencement date is recorded as 28th of, the governor of Tamil Nadu has recorded as 28th of April 2020. And then, of course, we approached UGC to make sure that we have now registered at the UGC, and the commencement of UGC approval or a certificate from UGC was also required to start our academic credentials at SaiU University. And I'm happy to say that we received the UGC's approval within 3 weeks. We had the UGC approval in the second week of May. I don't remember the exact date. I think it was 12th of May, 2018. Parallelly, Professor Barucha and his team had already started the academic work. And while I'm capturing the history, I must say that the land was decided. So many things are happening side by side. On one side, we had the government of Tamil Nadu approval, and then we had the election commission to say, yes, we have no objection to doing it in the middle of an election year. Then we had the UGC giving its approval for our program. And on the other side, we have Professor Barucha joining, then starting the academic team. Professor Anant starting and joining the School of Law, which is already in place and it's running for the first program. And we have also recruiting people at the other functions of management. We had the office of the registrar, Philip Stanley joined us. We had marketing team. We had Megha joining as director marketing. We had admissions team, Nandini joining as director admissions and outreach. We had the finance team with Amit Tripathi joining to head finance and commercial legal functions. We had at that time HR director, HR Sandhya joining to provide human resources function, which is subsequently taken by since Sandhya had to separate. We had Munjan Dang joining us recently to take over HR function. So I'm not too sure if I omitted anybody from the senior leadership team of SaiU University. Let me recap for a minute. I think I've covered all of them. If I've forgotten anybody, please forgive me. So, and then we told each one of them to go and build their own departments. You see that these functions, which are all essential building blocks of a university, are going to be built by their respective heads, getting the teams in place to see that all of the functions of a university take place at the same time. As we are starting the academic activity, all of the other functions which are essential to run a university or a great institution are also taking shape. And alongside, we had an opportunity to build a new campus. First of all, we had to get the city campus ready so we had a place to sit, because originally the university started from the trust office, which is East Coast Road, with an idealistic beach location, where the staff strength exceeded 8 and we had no place to sit. Therefore, we decided we need to have a new office, and we moved to the current location, what we call a city campus. We decided we'll have a campus which is not only a office administrative building, but it also has a few classrooms so that the Daksha students can study here. And at the same time, we had the ability to have one location where the university can grow and then move on to the main campus later. And amongst all of this, the pandemic hit us. As you know, that we went through 2 waves of the COVID pandemic, and many of us had to work from home without knowing what's going on around us. And that was a huge challenge. Zoom or Google Meet is no substitution for a personal conversation for 5 minutes. It is a great tool to work and make you productive when individual meetings are not possible. But individual meetings are essential because you can actually carry emotion. You can instinctively discuss, debate, and argue and finalize decisions across the table instead of having to get multiple people in one screen. But it got us going. It got us going to say that we did not have to give a break for the university for 1 year and say, we did not say that we start the university after the pandemic. We went on with this, tireless efforts. And then Professor Barucha built the academic team. The rest of the directors built their own teams. We had also initiated a campus committee with some of our board members and some of the outsiders who are big names in construction and real estate in Chennai to help us with the selection of an architect and design for the university campus, the main campus. We actually ran a global competition for architects. I'm happy to tell you 18 architects participated in the competition, 18 architects. 2 of them were from New York. Then the campus committee went through 3 rounds of selection and shortlisted them. And finally, in the 3rd round, they came with 2. And the 2 architect designs were presented to the board. And the board finally selected one of them, which is Sundaram Architects in Bangalore, who had designed all the campuses of Manipal University, including their most recent campus in Jaipur. And we also had Sundaram Architects design almost all the training centers of Infosys, all their education centers. So the committee felt that they were the best qualified to build a new world-class university in our 105 acres of land. So we've been appointed. Ms. Shalini, who is one of the partners and lead architects of Sundaram, is designing our campus. And many of you have seen our new proposed campus design in our website and the video. And that was inaugurated with the cornerstone and putting of the foundation stone by the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, the previous Chief Minister, So Palaniswamy, from the Chennai Fort Secretariat. I was the Secretariat. It was inaugurated by video conference, and our team of leadership was at the site, along with the collector and the superintendent of police and a few other senior officials of government at the site. We had a great occasion, which is all recorded in videos and still pictures. So we had the construction work which is started, and we completed the 15,000 square feet, which is ready, but we still feel it is not enough for taking the first cohort to take it there, because we do not have residences. We do not have a bubble where we can say all the students, the parents, and the visitors can meet safely. And therefore, we decided that the first year, the SaiU University 2021 cohort, first year, will start from the city campus. And I'm delighted to assure Professor Barucha, who spent many sleepless nights on this. And I'm delighted to assure the entire SaiU University team and all of the students that we will have the campus first building ready by July 22. For all of you to have your second year program. I'm making this commitment to make all of you feel your mind at rest. I know there are lots of doubts and ifs and buts, but I'm making this statement to say on this inaugural day of SaiU University to say next year academic ground will be August or September 22 when you commence the second year of your batch. It will be in the new building, SaiU University's main campus, along with the residents. We are planning a 6th-floor residence for faculty and a 6th-floor residence for students. You see, the first priority is academic building, second priority is the student residence, third priority is the faculty residence. And we are making sure that it's a safe and secure environment, not only the classroom, but also the labs and the infrastructure required to run a world-class university. And after that, over the next 7 years, we'll be building approximately 2 to 3 lakh square feet each year to get the university ready in about 25 lakh square feet, completed in 7 years. And the university's main campus will once again be a world-class physical infrastructure. You'll have all of the academic buildings with a very unique design with a central circular plaza for interchange of students and ideas and breakouts and so on, with each academic block coming out as a radial design from the central hub, surrounded by faculty residence, student residence, outdoor recreation activities, indoor recreation activities, essential shopping, and also a market street to give the students a feel for evening hours if you feel like you're missing a city life. You're not missing a city life because you'll be, even if you decide to take a vehicle or transport and move to the nearest shopping mall or a movie theater, you'll only be 15 minutes away. Please believe me, it's 15 minutes away, perhaps maximum 20 minutes away in a traffic jam from the nearest mall or a movie theater complex. I'm sure you have experience in your own cities. Your home is not any shorter distance from a shopping mall or a movie theater complex. So you're going to be living in the hub of a city. And SaiU University's main campus will be a mini city within Chennai City. And in fact, it'll have all the recreation facilities inside the campus. In addition to whatever I described, we will have conference rooms with the configuration for seating 50 people, 60 people, 100 people, 200 people, 250 people, seminar halls, 150 people, 100 people. It will have an auditorium for 1,500 people. It will have an open air theater for 2,500 people. It will have a visitor block for your families and friends when they come. They'll have a hotel inside the campus where they can stay, so they're able to stay outside and commute. And we're also planning to have a mini health center within the campus to see not only for the pandemic, but for any immediate need of any student or faculty or a staff member requiring medical assistance at a campus. You don't have to go outside the campus. There will be a mini hospital inside the campus. So it will be a self-contained city. And since we are by design environment friendly, I'm happy to say this university is being designed in two basic principles. Number one, we will be environment friendly with a net zero concept. A net zero concept means that we'll have carbon neutrality in the campus. In other words, we will not be polluting the atmosphere from SaiU University campus. We'll be solving the world's pollution problem. We will not be adding to it. And second, there will be no solid or liquid waste going away from the campus. Solid waste will be converted to biofuel. Liquid waste will be converted to consumable, let's say recycled water, which can be used for gardening and other purposes. And there will be no waste going out to pollute the city. We'll set an example for others to follow. And it will be done in a campus which will have entire roof area covered with solar panels. In other words, we will be consuming, based on architect's calculation, approximately 40% of the university's energy requirements from solar power. That's the maximum that we can generate within the campus at the current technology available in solar efficiency. So the university will be eco-friendly. We'll be having net zero, zero solid waste, zero liquid waste. It will be self-contained solar energy producer. We'll be drawing only on the grid to the extent that we cannot meet our own power requirements. The reason I am saying is that this is an exciting opportunity. And we also have Professor Barucha taking the leadership along with Professor Kriti Ramamurthy, computer science distinguished professor, who is a world-known scholar along with Professor Sadagopan. Professor Kriti Ramamurthy is very well known for his concept and design of smart cities. So Professor Barucha has kindly got his acceptance to convert our SaiU University campus into a smart campus. We have the advantage of building India's first smart campus. And I'm happy to say that all of those students who are interested in joining either the environmental initiative or the smart campus initiative can work with your professors and contribute as a part of a student by experiential learning, by doing things, not sitting and saying, okay, there's building coming up now. I hope it'll be ready in the next 2 years or 3 years. But you can actually participate, involve yourself in activity which you find is necessary. You can talk to your faculty and say, this, I want to contribute here. And do your bit in the design, execution, concept testing, and proof and implementation of creating this environment-friendly and smart campus. So having talked about the campus, I want to talk about the curriculum. Because one thing which I forgot to mention first, I should have said this early in the talk. I'm talking unstructured. I have not come with a prepared talk. I believe in communicating feelings and emotions in a talk. And therefore, sometimes it may look like random thoughts, but it has some coherence behind it. The fundamental purpose of SaiU University, I forgot to mention, is a vision of SaiU University. And I went on to describe how we made it happen. The vision of SaiU University is to be a globally eminent university. Why did we think of this vision? Because when we are doing the concept design and the analytical structuring of the university, the thought occurred to me that we are in the 75th year of independence now. In 75 years in India, we have not established one university in the top 100 of the global ranking. I'm not talking about Indian ranking. I'm talking about global ranking. I'm talking about global ranking done by Times International or by QS International. The two international agencies will give world-class ranking, not Indian publications giving rankings in India or not Government of India's ranking. I'm talking about global ranking. I'm saying why in 75 years have we not produced one university world-class? The top 100. I'm glad to say that our eminent IITs are between 125 and 150. Some leading private universities are between 200 and 300. And many Indian universities are between 600 and 700 in the world. I'm sure that all of you have read in your school textbooks that Indian civilization was at least 4,000, 5,000 years old. Approximately 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, we have civilizations in Nalanda, Harappa, we have civilizations in Kiladi in Tamil Nadu, we have civilizations in Gujarat. We are still excavating and finding out where they were and how they were lost. We have great artifacts, even standing monuments today, even 2,000 to 2,500 years old artifacts, monuments, which are not figured out how they were built without the help of a modern computer, calculator. Forget about it, not even a ruler, not even a measure of weight or length or dimensions of any kind. But they have created great monuments without any of these measurements. All of this knowledge India had several thousands years ago. Scholars from around the world in recorded history have come to India to gather knowledge. It's a recorded history that the ancient Chinese came to Tamil Nadu, at that time what is known by a different name, to learn their martial arts. And it's known as worldwide today as Chinese martial art, but it has its origins in southern Tamil Nadu. It's a recorded history, you can check it on internet anytime. What happened to that India? Where did we lose it? How come that entire wisdom and knowledge which India had, where did it go? So instead of developing it, we adapted ourselves to the knowledge and the wisdom of the newer countries on the world map. Many of these countries did not exist in India as a civilized society. We had planned cities, we had planned waterways, we had planned public gathering places, we had planned systems of, administration, of judicial, whatever. In India, the earliest days we are talking about 4,000 years ago. We had a knowledge of organized society. We had knowledge of organized legal system. We had knowledge of organized education system. And it was all lost. How did we lose it? I do not know. But what did we do in return? We went out seeking such knowledge from the more recently developed nations and accepted that as a model that India has to follow. It may or may not be the right solution. I'm not going to pass a value judgment. It may be the right solution for a modern India. It may require maybe adaptations to develop a new India. Maybe perhaps the wrong solution for India. Because our population, our society is different, multicultural, multiracial society. with a large population below low income levels. Maybe we need a different model of education, different model of development. But none of it has been debated in an Indian context. We have following a more developed nation context. So we said, conceptually, we should build SaiU University as a globally eminent university. Well, I know it's a huge challenge, but within a short span of time, I'd like to see SaiU University to be in the top 100 global universities. There is an internal target. I'm not going to put the target as a number of years in front of you, but you will all be contributing to making the class of SaiU University in a future batch, which you will come and talk as the founding batch to say that we are the founding batch of the SaiU University, which is now the first Indian university to be in the top 100. So the vision of SaiU University to be, how can you build a world-class university in India? Number one. Number two, he said we'll go back to the ancient Indian system of education as a service, not education as a business. If you're seeing the development of Indian education system outside the government education institutions, education is run as a business. Although by design, all education institutions are supposed to be not-for-profit, but in actual practice, the story is quite different. Many of you know it, and I'm not going to spend my time talking about these institutions. But SaiU University will be run as an education, as a service model. We will be making surpluses to sustain, but the surpluses will go towards building the university's infrastructure, its labs, its research, its faculty, its student facilities, and creating a unique environment of the SaiU University. And not 1 rupee of SaiU University will go to anyone else's pocket. It's my personal assurance. We've ensured that not only now, but in the future lifetime, even after my lifetime, nobody will be able to take 1 rupee home from SaiU University other than what they earn. The purpose of this statement is to say the SaiU University is not designed to be a money-making machine. Is meant to be a system which provides for a unique method of learning, transfer of knowledge, and acquisition of wisdom amongst this ecosystem for the benefit of students and for faculty to do research and development, publish articles, write articles, publish books, and so on and so forth, to see that knowledge goes far and wide around the world. So we are building a world-class university. We are building it as education as a service. So when we designed such university, we went through it and found that to make this university happen, we needed to have 5 pillars. I'm going to briefly mention the 5 pillars. I've talked about some of them. I should have said this earlier in my conversation. Maybe in the video editing, we'll cut and paste this in the beginning of my talk. That the 5 pillars we identified are: number 1, board of management, which is professional. When I say professional, each one is bringing their own value system to the university. Because we designed SaiU University to be a global university, conceptually a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary university. When you say multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, you must have heard these words as buzzwords in the past few months, but they're not buzzwords. These are the foundations of the design of a university of world class. A multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary university is essential in building a world-class university. In India today, the education system is purely operating in silos. If you want to do physics, you get chemistry and mathematics free. You're not selecting them. You've offered them as a bundle, as a package. If you want to do economics, you have to take psychology and statistics or philosophy and strategy, whatever the combination. It's a combo package. It's because the institution has designed their systems to make sure their timetable is ready, their coursework is ready, the faculty is ready. They just go deliver the package year after year after year, repetitively, making a few changes, not too many changes. And therefore, the system has become very static. It's not dynamic. It is not changing to the requirements of a modern society. It's not changing to the needs of a, thinking, creative faculty. It's not meeting the needs of an aspiring student body. So we decided that we needed to have a university which will be interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. When I say interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary in SaiU University, we have a choice to say that I'm going to be selecting liberal arts, but I'm not too sure what liberal arts means. So I'm going to spend my time talking about which the courses that I like best, and I have the freedom to choose them. Professor Barucha will be talking about all of these in his talk later in the day, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. The key is to know that the world around you is flexible for you to choose. You could be doing a liberal arts program and you could be taking a subject in computer science department, School of Computer Science. You could be doing computer science and attending a course in School of Law. So you could be designing a program with your select your major and minor programs so that you actually have a tailor-made course to your liking. And you could build your own discipline, the way you see your future develop, the way you see the development of the world around you and how you prepare yourself for it. The faculty are here to help you, guide you through your process. But you selecting your courses, he is not going to tell you select subject 1, 2, 3 comes free. It's not buy one, take two free offer. It is that you decide each course that you want to attend. So in order to design this multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary concept, we also had to have the system around it to make it happen. That's where I'm coming to the 5 pillars. The 5 pillars are the first one, the great board of management of eminent people who've been there, who've done it before. So they can advise us how to do it. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about a few of our board members. The list is long, but I'll tell you why each one of them is there. My dear friend, Mr. Narayan Murthy of Infosys fame, is a world citizen. He's on the board of management of 6 Ivy League universities worldwide. He's on the board of management of 4 universities in the US. I don't remember the name of all of them, but plus he is on the board of management of a university in France, university in Spain, and a university in Japan. So we've recruited his advice and service for SaiU University. All of them are doing it free of cost. None of them are getting paid. Please understand. Because they believe in the vision of SaiU University. They are here to build a modern university in India of global standards, global eminence, global accomplishments. So he has been here. He is guiding us to help us set up, how do we set up world-class university. Then we have my friend, Mr. Ashank Desai, who was on the board of 2 of India's most eminent institutions, IIT Mumbai and IIM Ahmedabad. He is giving us the insights into operating eminent institutions in India. And Mr. Mohandas Pai, who is running 5 universities of the Manipal Group, is on our board giving us advice on how actually execute, how do we execute building and running of a university in India. Then we have former Chief Justice of India, most eminent Chief Justice Venkatachalaya, is 92 years old, but is certainly as sharp as any one of you, a sharper at this age. To guide and give us the knowledge required to create a great school of law with interdisciplinary approach. I must give you an anecdote. When I went to invite him to Bangalore to join the board, and I told him that we're starting Dasha Fellowship and School of Law, and we also want to have interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach. His immediate reaction was, Ramani, I'm so glad that you're doing this. I'll be there. Tell me what you want from me. I'll be there to give my inputs. And he said the most important requirement today in India is multidisciplinary learning. And he posed a question to me. Please remember, this gentleman is 92 years old. His brain is sharper than anyone else that I've met in my life. He asked me a question. In the modern technology world, if you had a robot or a drone, go and kill somebody, armed with a pistol or an ammunition, goes and kills somebody, who would you prosecute? Would you prosecute the designer of the hardware, the developer of the software, or the person who put the hardware and software, integrated it, or the person who designed the machine, the drone or the robot to load it with arms, programmed it, or would you actually prosecute the person who actually loaded the ammunition into the device, or the person who timed it, programmed it to release and hurt someone? He said the law is not clear anywhere in the world. We have a lot of circumstantial law based on which we can prosecute people, but there's no clear-cut law or a case law to say, in these cases, this is a person who's accountable. So he says what is needed is a multidisciplinary approach, which brings in a system of knowledge, of technology, of law, of management, of sciences, of engineering, all put together to see how the modern society evolves. And that can only be done with a multidisciplinary education. So coming back to the board, we have then requested several other luminaries. Professor Kasturi Rangan was chairman of ISRO and was also the chairman of the new education policy, the transformational education policy of higher education in India, to guide us on the new education policy and how to implement it. We also requested Professor Anil Kapotkar, chairman of Atomic Energy Commission of India, to be providing the leadership on science and technology. We requested Professor many of them, I can't remember all of them. Doctor, of course, lost my thoughts. There's so many of them I remember, and then my mind is racing back to the last 3 years where so many of them have been sharing all their experience and rich knowledge to us entirely without any consideration for any benefit. And I'm deeply grateful to each one of them. So Dr. Pramas Sinha, for his wisdom in building two great institutions in India, the knowledge of building management schools and also liberal arts school in Ashoka, and Ms. Savita Mahajan, who is the Deputy Dean of ISB and who built the new campus entirely for ISB in Mali, and Ms. Bharti Gupta Ramola, who was the head of PricewaterhouseCoopers in India, to give a consulting and management education background to the university. Mr. Ram, who is a very eminent lawyer and auditor and financial regulator, to give regulatory complaints and other inputs. My dear friend Bhaskaran and my family member, Dr. K.P. Krishnan, IAS, who was formerly Secretary to the Government of India, who was a PhD in economics and an MBA from IIM Bangalore, to give us the experience of navigating the waters of the administrative system, the governance, the policy, and so much of the government interface that we have to do it successfully. Oh, I missed out anyone else. Dr. Sunita Reddy of Apollo Hospital to give us the direction and wisdom to bring a great healthcare segment of the SaiU University. I guess I missed out a few, but I will come to my mind. So the reason we put together this board, as you can see, this board itself is multidisciplinary. Each member of the board is representing a discipline. They're not here because of their affiliation, their investment, or their, what do you call it, anything other than their knowledge. They're bringing their knowledge to SaiU University, and their wisdom and experience is what is going to be the future for our strategy and vision for SaiU University. And coming to the second pillar, the second pillar of any modern university, a world-class university, we found was the faculty. And there I must tell you, I was blessed to get Professor Jamshed Bharucha, who had 40 years of eminence in the Western world and who had served in various capacities in the academia in the Western world. He's at least been exposed and worked and contributed in multiple ways to 3 Ivy League schools in the US. Dartmouth School, Tufts School, University of Dartmouth University, Tufts University, and Howard University. He has been a student, he has been a researcher, he has been a fellow, he's been a faculty member, he's been an administrator, he's been a president, he's done all of it, he's done it before in 3 Ivy League universities. So we are fortunate when he requested him to be the founding vice chancellor and he accepted. We are fortunate that we already had one major puzzle of building a world-class university solved, because here comes a person of great wisdom and experience who is going to be building a great university in India. Thank you, Professor Bharucha. And along with Professor Bharucha, we are fortunate to get, thanks to his network of academia in the world, very eminent faculty from across the world. And I think you have already interacted with several of them. It's very, very difficult for me to go through all of them. We have, chairman of the board of computer science in Stanford, chairman of the board of international relations in Harvard, from the school of the University of Paris, from, the chief executive of Nickelodeon. I mean, I can go on counting names and universities of people who are all eminent in their own ways, their own discipline, their own universities. And you're fortunate to have such faculty teach you at undergraduate level, because many of them do not teach undergraduate students in their own universities. They only teach postgraduate students or they guide researchers. So you're all very fortunate, very lucky to have such eminent faculty teach and, coach you, mentor you in SaiU University. So the second pillar is also consisting of Indian faculty. When I say Indian, almost all of them have accreditation in international universities. Either they've had their education in international universities or they have taught in international universities, they've done research in international institutions. They're all here as a second part of the faculty team. We have one time, which is the international faculty, and we have the great Indian faculty in the other side. There's two sides to that coin. So that is the second pillar of SaiU University, the faculty. The third is a curriculum, which I've already talked to you about. The unique curriculum of multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach. The curriculum which we had in concept in 2018, when we designed the university, we put the broad contours to a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary university, that we start with the School of Law in year 0, which was last year. And so they start with the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences and School of Computing and Data Sciences in year 1. And progressively we'll be starting schools of business and management. Excuse me. We starting schools of science and technology. We'll be starting schools of engineering. We'll be, in fact, starting school of medicine. We'll be starting with all other branches that we feel are necessary to a modern university. And all of these schools will have the underlying thread of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary education. A student in one school will be able to take minors and majors in the other schools or audit courses in the other schools. And that is the foundation of the university. So that is the third pillar of SaiU University, the curriculum, which is very unique across a minimum of 7 schools in the next 7 years. And the fourth pillar, also I've talked about, is our world-class infrastructure, the academic buildings, the labs, the research labs, the libraries, the residences, the indoor-outdoor recreation, the conference centers, the auditoriums, and all of it put together. The evening hours, the recreation centers, the break and chill-out places for our young adults to work, cooperate, to collaborate, to discuss, debate, argue, and to come with their own understanding and their own evolution of their minds from the early stages of what we call as the creation of a unique sense of knowledge in your own unique way. We believe each person has a unique talent. The SaiU University's ecosystem is going to provide you the environment to blossom that young mind into a flower, which is almost going to be designed by yourself, each one by yourself. All of the others are going to be enablers. We are not going to tell you do this or don't do this. You will have to figure out a way in which you will evolve. You will pursue your interests. You will pursue the subjects of a choice. Or it could be, literature, it could be arts, it could be music, it could be sports. Whatever it is, you would be able to develop to your potential defined by you, and science will provide the ecosystem for you to develop that uniqueness about you as an individual. So that infrastructure is the fourth pillar of SaiU University. And I've now come to the fifth and the most important pillar of the SaiU University. And that fifth and most important pillar are you, the students. Because without the students, there's no university. This university exists for the students. It is going to be for the benefit of the students. All the other things that we have talked about so far is going to be enabling the students to learn and get the wisdom, pursue knowledge, pursue research, and pursue their careers, future. I am using the word careers and not jobs. Because job is short-term, career is long-term. Career is what you do in your lifetime. A job is what you do perhaps for a few years of your lifetime. The key is that how will each one of you evolve is going to be determining not only your future, but the future of the university. And therefore, the fifth pillar, which I reserve to the last, I always keep the best for the last. The students of SaiU University are the fifth pillar of the university. And being the first founding batch of SaiU University, all of you, number one, I would say, are fortunate that you have the ability to learn in this unique institution of one of its kind in India today. It has never been done before, and I am sure that there will be many who will be copying us. I'm already seeing that there are many universities in India who are copying even
Sir,
some for ads.
sir, I had a
And
doubt.
yes, please.
Yes, so whatever you mentioned right now about that auditoriums and all, will this all be ready by July 2022?
No, sir. No. Sonak, no. What will be
Acha.
ready for July 22, I'll repeat, will be one academic block of about 2 lakh square feet of 6 floors, one student residence of 6 floors, and we are trying also to get one faculty residence of 6 floors. And what we is ready will be one outdoor recreation center, a football field, maybe a hockey field, a basketball court, a badminton court. That will be what will be ready. The
Cricket.
planning will not be, it will not be possible to build more than 3 lakh square feet in 1 year. It's
Sir, will
physically
there be
impossible.
table tennis courts?
Table tennis, we can make it available in the student residence.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So to complete what I was going to say, that you are the fifth pillar of SaiU University, or all of you, the students, the founding batch. So what I want to tell you is that we are fortunate to have such a young, bright, talented, intelligent, committed, hardworking cohort of students who will be the founding batch of SaiU University. We are proud to have you here, and I want to give a big round of applause to say thanks to you, the first cohort of SaiU University, to have the trust, the faith, the belief in what we're saying and join us, because you're going to set the blazing trail for others to follow. The future batches of SaiU University will look up to your leadership. When you graduate, or even when you finish your first year, when our second year admissions begin, you will be ambassadors for us. The students of the next batch will be talking to you to find out how is your learning experience, how is their academic experience, how is their infrastructure experience. All of that you're going to be sharing with them. To answer Saunak's question, that Saunak, we're going to be adding the 7 departments, I said, 1 department in each year and 2 residence buildings each year. There are 21 buildings coming up in the campus, plus the auditorium, plus the conference center, plus the hotel, plus the medical center. So there are approximately 25 buildings coming up. It's almost humanly impossible to put up 25 buildings of about 25 lakh square feet in 1 year. So we're going to be putting up about 3 lakh square feet, which is a huge challenge to do in 300 days. But we're going to make it happen. And God forbid there's no pandemic to manage, or acts of nature to manage. But for that, I think we'll be there. We have plans put to, the designs are frozen. They're already waiting for government approvals to break ground and get going. And we are planning to work 2 shifts a day to make it happen. And we'll be adding 1 academic block and 2 residential blocks and other infrastructure each year as we go along. But one assurance I can give you is that whatever you find is a basic necessity, which you find is absent in the campus, we'll make sure that's addressed immediately so that your lifestyle is not put to a disadvantage. Your basic community is what you want for studies, for your living, for your recreational, for your meals, for your leisure, all of that will be taken care of. So to come down to complete my talk, and therefore the Sai University is founded on this 5 pillars, and we are looking up to you, the founding batch, to be the leaders of tomorrow, to be the torch bearers of Sai University and go around the globe and say that we've come from the Ivy League, the first Ivy League University of India, and that you will be our ambassadors for the future generations and future batches to say whatever is there to make sure that is passed on to the others. And my only request is whatever you find, we are going to have a problem. We're going to have a few problems. We are not going to have all a rosy picture. As they say, the famous expression, Rome was not built in 1 day. It's going to take us some time to achieve what we want to achieve. There are going to be glitches, there are going to be shortfalls, there are going to be problems, there are going to be, teething troubles, all of which we'll have. I'm sure that all of you would have experienced in your life some where the other. The first time you tried to ride a bicycle, you would have had a problem. The first time you were on a two-wheeler, you would have had a problem. First time you tried to drive a car, you would have had a problem. This was part of life. So we're going to go through that problem. So what we will do, only thing I can assure you, is that we will set up an office where you have the ability to represent your problems or deficiencies or requirements in an organized way. You will be able to represent it to the university, and the management will take immediate corrective action at the earliest possible date to see they are rectified. That's an assurance I can give you. It's not going to be all set to go from day one. It's going to be evolving, that we will address any concerns, problems, deficiency as swiftly as possible to make sure that you all have a good learning experience in SaiU University. And you have a great living experience in SaiU University. And you have good tales to go and tell about SaiU University to your friends, your families, and to your successor batches. So what I wanted to say to conclude, because I want to keep some time for Q&A. I know that I've gone for long. Vote is getting washed. The SaiU University is founded the vision to build a global university in India. It is going to be the first of its kind in a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary method of learning. It is going to have multiple schools, at least 7, if not more, because they're going to be built over several years. And we already have 3 schools, and we are the first cohort of the School of Law and School of Computing Sciences. You can see from the program that we offer, we are already unique from the rest. And Professor Barucha will talk about how the programs are so unique, and that there's no other university from where you can learn about these subjects in as diverse fields as you want. And our board of management has rich experience and governance and strategy and direction. You gain from that. We have invested. We will be offering education as a service, not as a business. We'll be making sure that you have the best of faculty from around the world and from India. We'll make sure that you have the best of infrastructure, conducive to learning, conducive to research, conducive to extracurricular activities. We'll have all the freedom in the campus, and we have an agnostic way of life so that each one of you can develop and blossom into your own individual selves as you see. And we are not going to tell you what you should be pursuing. It should be up to you to evolve. And with those concepts, I'm delighted to say that we had inspired vision in 2018. It has come to reality in 2021, in 3.5 years. In 3.5 years, it has taken us from concept to commissioning. I sincerely wish that we had an opportunity to have this meeting in person, but due to the pandemic, we are having it online. But however, it is important to know that we're still able to communicate, we're still able to see each other, we're still able to listen, understand, discuss. And that is a modern technology that has enabled us. We should be thankful for that grace that we have today. We look upon all of this faculty with great admiration for what they have achieved in their life. And I'm thankful to all the faculty for joining SaiU University in its formative years and setting the direction for the university to proceed forward in building a world-class institution. And I thank all the other team members of diverse departments who joined SaiU University, believing in this vision to build a world-class education institution in India. And I thank all of the are the people behind the scenes who've been contributing to building Sai University from inception, work days and nights for the past 3.5 years to get us to this stage. And I once again thank all the students and your parents and members of family and well-wishers for having the faith in us and joining this founding batch of Sai University 2021 first cohort. And I will only say this, we have taken one small step today. As Neil Armstrong said when he landed on the moon, one small step for me and a giant leap for mankind. We have taken one small step for Sai University today, and I'm sure it's going to be a great giant leap for mankind, the humankind, in the years to come. And I'm sure this university, Sai University, will become globally eminent in the next few years, and we'll have to do it all together. I would only say, don't look at it us versus them in everything we do. Within the team, within the management, within the faculty, within the staff, within the students, with all the members who are our vendors, our supporters, whatever. It is all of us together to make an institution. One person cannot build an institution. An institution is built by a lot of people. All of the students present on this occasion today, you're very much part of it. We'll all have to put our shoulders to move the wheel forward. We'll have to make it happen cooperatively. It is a collective effort in building an institution. And with all our efforts, I am sure, and with the divine grace of Sai, that the vision and the dream of building a globally eminent university from India will be achieved very soon. And that day, we can all be proud of it. And you will be able to tell your children and your great children and grandchildren and great grandchildren to say, you were the founding batch of Sai University as faculty. You are the founding batch of Sai University as board members. You are the founding batch of Sai University as team members in various departments. You are the founding batch of students of Sai University. And that day is not very far, I can assure you. So with those words, I will say, let us begin Sai University on its path to achieve the preeminent position amongst the universities of the world and be known as a top university from India, which attracted talent from around the world. There are some people who asked me in the past, is it possible to do it? I've tested this concept myself and say, I'm glad to say that has been done before, therefore it's possible. In my own industry, in IT industry, in mid-80s, when we went to talk about IT in the United States to get business for our software companies, we were asked, we only heard of cows and sadhus and in India. Where is software in India? We've never heard of software in India. And one person famously asked me, have you come here to buy software or sell software? We're confused. And today, that same United States, even if you're starting a company in Silicon Valley, the first question they ask you is, have you tied up an India relationship? If not, go and set up an India partnership with some company in India and come back, and then only we'll fund you. The industry has come 180 degrees turn. India has become a technology leader in IT sector worldwide. In the same way, it has taken us about 30 years to get there. In the same way, I must say that healthcare, I've known about 25, 30 years ago, if Indian had to go through bypass surgery, they had to go to a foreign hospital or they kind of lost their life. But today we are in a situation after 25, 30 years that foreigners are coming to India for healthcare treatment because our healthcare treatment, our doctors, our equipment here, facilities are as good as any in the world. And in fact, nursing care is better than the rest of the world. And the cost of treatment is perhaps 1/4 or 1/5 of the rest of the world. So it's been done in IT industry, it's been done in healthcare sector. And if you take our own other national institutions, they've done it in space. India has become world leader in space. We are launching satellites by, tens in one launch. The recent missions of ISRO have carried 20, 30 satellites. We are launching satellites for other developed countries from India, from ISRO. We have done it in nuclear sector. We've done it in many sectors. So if you see all of those sectors, it's possible to bring India to world-class levels within 25, 30 years. We are going to be able to do it in higher education sector, even in a shorter span of time with all of the focus and energies and the directions we put into this university. We will be able to achieve world-class eminence, and you will all be the brand ambassadors of science in the future. And therefore, I want to thank all of you to say that together, let's make SaiU University happen. Let's make SaiU University a world-class university from India and be a part of the SaiU University's founding story. Thank you very much.